Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome in to Trainer Talk Tuesday. Hope you're having a great day out there. Now, we got some good information for you today, especially if you are in the midst of right now trying to make gains, you're on a fitness journey. We want to talk to you about some recovery techniques and a recovery routine that you should follow and why that is critical to your progress and what you're doing in the gym to continue to benefit your push forward in your quest.
Yep, guys, so most people don't realize that what you do outside of the gym or right after your weightlifting session is just as important, if not more important, than what you're doing inside the gym during your training. So your recovery is huge, guys. It enhances performance and it's going to reduce your risk of injury. So if you are not doing this, you're most likely going to notice some plateaus when it comes to getting the results that you're looking for. So listen up, guys. These are the top 5 must-haves when it comes to your recovery routine. So getting right into it, guys. Number 1, when you are working out during your program, you want to have a cool down of some sort. Now this can be a number of different things, but in general, a cool down is just bringing down your heart rate. So if you're doing a super intense workout, if you're lifting heavy weights, if you're doing 1 rep maxes or close to it, you know that your heart rate is going to be relatively high. As you are coming towards the end of your workout, you want to bring that overall heart rate down and get it closer to a normalized heart rate, your resting heart rate. And you're going to do that by reducing the amount of weight that you're using. You may also take longer rest periods towards the end of your training program. Also, walking it out. We see this often or we do this often even with our clients, where you might sprint, for that, final push, and then you walk back to recover. These are things that you can do to start cooling down the body, giving it a longer time period to normalize.
Right, yes, guys, absolutely. And I'm going to take it somewhere else, guys. When we're talking about recovery is not only, as what Larissa mentioned, recovery starts the night before you even get to the gym the next day. Meaning the nutrition that you have, the type of dinner that you take in to help the body get a good night's rest, help those muscle fibers and everything properly regenerate after you broke those muscles down in the gym that day, and so on. And then also, yes, getting that good night's sleep as well, where your mind is rested, your body's rested, and you got the proper energy level to get in the gym, to stay focused and do what it is that you came to do. So there's a lot that goes into it. A lot of us take that for granted and we just kind of rush through. Me, myself, I can kind of, point the finger right at me and say I am a component of doing this from time to time, whereas I just rush through, I got things to do, and I don't really take enough time to focus on that cool down or that bringing down the heart rate aspect of my circuits. I just kind of like 0 to 100 and then I'm out. But talking to you guys and the significance of it is very, very important that you do take your time, even with your warm-up routine prior to you getting into your actual weightlifting routine for that day. All of those things are going to aid towards your recovery because you're going to be giving your body all the essential things it's need, a proper warm-up, getting those muscles nice and warm, ready to go to hit those heavier weights, do those more intense repetitions. And then the cool down, when you really work on the elastic portion of your muscles by lengthening those muscles out, allowing those muscle fibers to stay nice and loose. That way they can continue to give you the best performance in your workouts, and also they are able to grow bigger and stronger because they're not so tight and they don't have so much acid backed up in them from you breaking those muscles down.
Now, guys, and this kind of gets us into number 2, which can be a component of your cool down, which is emphasizing your stretching and foam rolling. Nate mentioned this is going to help lengthen the muscle. So when we're talking about recovery, we are talking about static stretching, not dynamic. Dynamic stretching is typically done before your main circuit, your main workout. That's the warm-up that Nate mentioned. But after your workout, the recovery phase, we really want to focus on static stretching, which means you are going to be holding positions, and really challenging that flexibility. So I always tell my clients on a scale of 1 to 10, you want to take that pain level as far as that stretch is concerned to about a 7. That way you are challenging yourself just as much with your flexibility as you are with your weight training or your overall training routine in the gym. So guys, stretching is super important, and really combining that with foam rolling is going to give you the best results. When you work out, you're essentially putting stress on the body, and long-term stress can cause knots, it can cause kinks, it can cause issues and pain in the body. And we all know that, like, when you get stressed out, you hold that stress in a particular spot. We all know what that looks like. You probably know what that is for yourself. For me, I know whether it's in the gym or just like stress in general in life, I hold it in my neck and my shoulders, and I would say most people do. You know, it's that whole, like, you tense up like this. And when you do that for long periods of time, or when you're killing certain muscles, whether it's your back, your legs, you know, it doesn't matter. They're going to get fatigued. They're going to tighten. That lactic acid that Nate mentioned is going to build up if you're not having a means to release it. And so that's where we start to run into issues. You have limited range of motion. You might notice pain in your joints, or just pain in general, achiness. You're not recovering well, right? You're doing your training sessions, but you don't feel like your body is ready for another brutal beat down in the gym because you're still trying to make up for the one that you did the day or two prior. So this is where stretching and foam rolling really matters. Ideally, in a perfect world, you would foam roll first. Really work out those kinks. It is painful if you guys have knots, so just keep that in mind. Do what your pain tolerance can handle, and then stretch those same muscles right afterwards. So you're really trying to loosen up those tight muscles, and then we're lengthening them with the stretching immediately following the foam rolling. So this, ideally, guys, you should do this all the time after every training session. As Nate mentioned, we struggle doing this ourselves, so we do realize that it may be difficult for you to get into that routine, but please know the importance of doing that, because if not, you are going to have pain. You are going to have long-term issues, and at the end of the day, it's going to affect your results because you'll have a limited range of motion. You're going to hit plateaus in the gym. Your strength is going to decrease. Your performance level in general will decrease. So make sure that you are implementing that. I would say, you know, depending on your time schedule, like anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes a day. 5, the absolute minimum, right? That's if you're in a hurry. But ideally, you're getting 15 minutes of this cool down, this stretching, this foam rolling into your training program every single time you work out.
Absolutely. Everything agreed. I would also take it a step further and say, try to do it every morning and night. Try to make that be some of the things that you first do in the morning when you wake up, is try to get those muscles and everything going, loosen the body up, get the body ready for the day, and then do the same thing before you go back to bed. Now, when Larissa's talking to you about the importance of foam rolling and stretching and plateauing and everything like that, when you're not doing those things consistently, what we're saying is when you're putting that amount of stress on the body, because that's what exercising is, you're putting a tremendous amount of stress on the body, which causes lactic acid. All right, so when that lactic acid breaks down within the muscle and it releases itself, it has to find somewhere to go, guys. And if you're not stretching, if you're not foam rolling properly, then it's just going to turn into those knots and those kinks that she's mentioned. So when you start to see that your range of motion and everything like that is lessening, that is a sign that you have lactic buildup in the body, and also you're not getting enough mobility and stretching within your routine to keep your body to be able to move and do all the things that is necessary for it to do. So at least once in the morning, at least once at night, certainly after that training regimen, is something that you should treat extremely important. And for my older clientele base out there, for the older folks, the guys that are aging every day, which all of us are, but the ones of you who are starting to feel it, when you say, like, I feel that in my bones now, and the older I get, those jokes, guys, it gets even more important from you. I like to use this guy, Tom Brady, as an example. Watch him and what he's doing in his career at 43 years old now, I think going on 44. The guy talks about pliability, being able to stay loose, being able to keep his muscles from being so impactful that when he takes contact, they don't tense up. What they do is allow people to bounce off of him, and that way it keeps him from being injured and keeps him from taking unnecessary injuries at this point in his career. And also, when we talk about the stress, a lot of people carrying it within their neck, guys, just think about it. When you take things in most cases, it's something that you are absorbing mentally or visually through the eyes or through your brain. And when those sensors, the nervous system, when those sensors start running through the body, the first muscles contacted are within the neck and the shoulder region. As those messages travel through the body to let you know what to do or to let you know how to respond as you go through the emotions of what you're taking in. So that's why a lot of people are carrying so much stress there, because of what they could be seeing on a regular basis, as far as, the amount of stress at work, things at home, whatever the case may be. It's just that those muscles in the shoulder and neck area are the first things that are contacted. So that's where people tend to tense up the most and carry the most stress. So try to implement that stretching, as we mentioned. Try to implement that foam rolling. Foam rolling, maybe not as much as the stretching, but there is a time and a place for it, and it is necessary to do on a consistent basis.
Literally never thought of it like that. So that was great point, Nate. I love that, especially because, like I said, I carry all my stress right there, and I definitely notice it on a day-to-day basis, so that makes sense to me. All right, guys, number 3, we are going into hot or cold therapy. Now, this can be done in different ways. People have different opinions when it comes to this. Now, old school thinking, it was known that you were supposed to use cold therapy, ice packs, right? Ice baths. These were very common, still are in a lot of ways, with acute injuries. And even though you may not actually injure yourself in the gym, those muscle fibers are still being broken down. There's still that stress on the body. So oftentimes, athletes will take ice baths immediately after a hard training session. And then the idea was you use hot, you use heat, whether it's a heating pad or a hot shower, if it's like chronic, right? If it's a chronic injury, or if this is just like ongoing issues that you have in like a certain area. There's a lot of studies that actually show that that theory is not true. So now what I recommend is for you to do whatever feels the best to you. You can research this on your own. There's going to be varying, opinions on it, but whether you use hot or cold therapy, whether that's ice baths or cryotherapy or heating pads or hot showers or hot baths with like Epsom salt, these are all different ways that you can utilize these methods to find recovery and to get relief within the muscles and even the joints. So keep that in mind, guys. Do whatever works best for you. It might be a combination depending on, the time period that you are in your recovery phase. So this is going to be very unique to the individual, and what you prefer and what you feel gives you the best relief when you're truly listening to the body. Now, let me say this. I think most people would prefer the hot therapy because it feels better, a sauna, or like I said, a nice hot bath or shower. But just because it feels better to you and for your mind doesn't necessarily mean that it's better for your muscles, because that ice bath or that cryotherapy is going to be an initial shock. So really pay attention, not how you feel in the moment, but how you feel afterwards, and the after hours to a day or two after using those type of therapies. So pay attention to that more than in the moment, because like I said, most people are going to prefer the hot therapy while they're doing it. Another means would be massages. All right, so this is very similar to the concept of foam rolling in the sense that you're really working out the kinks. Someone's really digging into the muscle and they are loosening up all that lactic acid, they're loosening up all that tension, And as we mentioned before, there has to be some type of outlet for that. So this is a way for you to really start seeing improvement in your body's function, overall function. So massages are a huge, huge component, guys. It's a huge part of this. If you are active with any type of regularity, you should be getting a massage with some type of regularity as well. And I know that a lot of people look at this as like a luxury, but truly it's a necessity, because as we mentioned before, if you're really neglecting this area of your life, then you are going to feel it in every single aspect and everything that you do going forward. So make sure that you prioritize that and work with a professional if you have the means to do so, because they're really knowledgeable about getting in and reducing that stress on the body, and in return improving your overall body's function.
Absolutely, guys. We did a whole video and spiel about inflammation, and that's what we're pretty much getting into with this hot and cold therapy and the massages is you want to take the stress off the body, and massages, hot and cold therapy is a real good way to do that, especially the cold therapy to release inflammation. That's why you see a lot of athletes wearing the ice around the knees, around the ankles, or whatever it is after they go out and they have a tough competition. So definitely want to implement that within your routine as much as you can. And then make sure that you do get with you a great massage therapist. We know a great guy, by the way, if you're here in the St. Pete, Clearwater area. We'll drop his name in the comments. His name is Scott Roberts over at Peaceful Warriors. And Peaceful Warriors. I think that it may just be Peaceful Warriors. Sorry about that. But we got massages from him over the past 2 weeks.
Downtown St. Pete.
Yep, downtown St. Pete, but we're feeling great. I know it's the best massage I ever had. Never really had anybody dig into the muscles that way for me. And like I said, I've been kind of avoiding doing a lot of the stretching and things I need to do when it comes to my recovery routine. So that gave me a really good jump start, and it was a refreshing conversation that I had there with you, Scott. So we'll be sure to drop Scott's name down in our comments, and you guys in the area can hit him up and definitely get on the schedule and go in and check him out. He is really great at what he do, real strong hands, and he knows exactly what to do to help you feel a lot better than what you did when you came and got on his table. But getting into number 4 here, guys, I've already kind of touched on this when I said your recovery even starts the night before you get to the gym, and then that day in the morning as well. So refueling the body, guys, putting the proper amount and the right kinds of nutrition back in the body. Higher protein intake, more water. Water is going to be extremely critical to your recovery, because it's going to be one thing that's going to keep your body from being very, very, prone to having a lot of cramps and so on. I don't know why I was wanting to say Charlie horse, you know what that is, but cramps.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing. But cramps for the most part, because when you're putting all this, again, like I keep mentioning, stress on the body, you're breaking a muscle down. If you're not lengthening those muscles out, keeping them nice and elastic, you will eventually start having cramps, especially if you're dehydrated on top of that. So the body is made up on average of about 60% water. So you're going to need a lot of water on a regular basis. So guys, make sure that you're very hydrated. Make sure you eat a proper amount of protein. That way that your muscles are able to do everything and get everything that they need, so that they can regenerate properly in between those sessions to help you keep yourself from being, in a bad position.
Guys, and again, this kind of goes to old school thinking. It has been believed and is still widely accepted by most fitness enthusiasts that the time period after your workout matters as far as getting your protein intake in. So it's always been believed that you have about 30 to 45 minutes to get adequate amounts of protein in to start the rebuilding phase, as far as getting stronger, building muscle, and doing what it takes to reach your goals. Now there are studies out that are saying that may not be true, that the timing doesn't matter as much as just getting in the correct macros that you need for the day in general. So your macros are your carbs, protein, and fat intake. Obviously, we're putting the emphasis on protein because that matters if you are doing weight training and you're trying to build or retain muscle, then your protein intake is going to matter quite a bit. It's going to be essential to whether or not you're getting the results you're looking for. Again, this is something for you to look further into as far as the timing of this, but most people, most fitness enthusiasts are still, giving themselves an allotted window to get their protein intake in. And this may be in the form of supplementation. So it's very common for people in the fitness industry to take a protein powder, or if they're not having a protein powder, they're eating a high quality meal right after their workout. Some people take other types of supplementation to help
protein bars, stuff like that,
or just like different things in general, like BCAAs to help with their their recovery process. These type of supplementations that are amino acids that can aid in the recovery phase of the soreness and the lactic acid that's happening in the body. So there are different supplementations that you can look into. I'm personally not against supplementation, but I do think that they are very abused in the industry. I do think that the quality of your supplementation matters, and I do think that your overall nutrition matters more. So supplementation, in my opinion, is just that. It supplements what you're already doing. It is not a replacement for whole foods. So please keep that in mind, guys. But it is and can be a critical part of your recovery process.
Yeah, guys, just again, I spoke about this already a bit, but just throwing it out here again, I did a consultation with the guy about a week or two ago, and that was one of his questions for me, as he asked me what do I think about shakes. And the main reason he was asking is because he was thinking about drinking 3 to 4 shakes a day. And I told him that never get in a mindset or never think that protein shakes or powders can replace actual food, guys. So when we say the abuse of them and so on, that's what we're meaning by that. It's like, don't get in the mindset of thinking you can just drink a few protein shakes a day and replace what you're actually getting from meals. Yes, it's going to fill you up, it's going to provide your body with protein, but you're still going to need the proper nutrition that's only going to come from eating fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, proper carbohydrates, and so on. So make sure that you're still getting a nice healthy meal setting every day, at least 2, sometimes 3 if you're not intermittent fasting or anything like some people like to do. But you want to make sure you still get some high quality meals on a regular basis and not just depending on protein shakes for your meal supplementation.
And I also think it's the process in which the body breaks down whole foods, that is critical to the overall function of our body and our digestive system. So if you are removing that by juicing, and I love juicing, but I don't think that you should live off of juice alone or protein powder alone. So if you're removing that, those steps and how the body breaks down our food, and it's just kind of already going there, and it's in that broken down form already, you're losing those steps of how the body is really designed to work. And long term, you will notice effects because of that. So just keep that in mind. Like I said, a lot of this stuff can be personal preferences, but your supplements are meant to supplement your nutrition, not replace it. So moving on, guys, number 5 here. Nate mentioned this at the beginning of the video, but it is so critical, and a lot of us neglect this. We don't factor this in as much as we should, is really getting adequate amounts of sleep. And I don't just mean sleeping enough and getting the appropriate hours, which by the way is still recommended that you get 8 hours of sleep a night. Women, actually, there are some studies that show that we may need more, like up to 9 or 10 hours a night. But also the quality of sleep that you're getting. If you are sleeping 8 hours, but you're waking up, every hour, throughout that time period, you're probably not getting the sleep that you need. You're not getting the deep quality sleep that is essential to your recovery process. And we know that while we're sleeping, that is when our body, when our major organs heal. And so if we do not get the appropriate and adequate amount of sleep, you're going to be starting the next day at a disadvantage. You're never going to fully recover. And so over time, you're going to feel really worn down. You're going to wake up tired. You're going to wake up stiff. You're going to wake up achy. And you're always going to be about 2 to 3 steps behind the next person who did get the full amount of sleep that they needed. So just remember that, guys. If you're not getting the sleep that you need, you actually may be doing more harm than good by killing yourself in the gym. You need to make some of these other things a priority, because if you're not getting the appropriate sleep, you're really stressed out, your adrenals could suffer. And if you have adrenal fatigue, or your adrenals are not functioning at their optimal level, then putting more stress on the body could actually hurt it more. So you have to address the issues that are going on, really listen to your body, and make sure that you're keeping it balanced in all aspects of life.
Now, I hope this come across right what I'm going to say here, and you guys take it the right way and don't misinterpret this. But basically, what happens when you're sick, when you're feeling under the weather, when you're trying to get back to feeling better? You want to sleep, right? Because like Larissa just mentioned, that is your body's way of healing itself, is through sleep. So when you go and you put that amount of stress on your body in the gym, you break the muscles down, you do all those things, that is a level of stress. It's good stress, don't get me wrong, but too much of it and not enough recovery time could be detrimental for you. So allow yourself to get the proper amount of sleep, an actual nice deep sleep, 8 hours of sleep that when you wake up, you're not groggy still, you don't feel like you can sleep for another hour or two. Allow your body to actually shut its sensors down and do nothing, and literally just rest and recover, and watch how better you feel the next day. And that's going to start, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, with dinner at nighttime, making sure you get something in that's not going to leave you feeling stuffed and lethargic, but something that's going to help aid with you just being able to get a nice healthy sleep where you're not feeling too full, you're not feeling stuffed, you're not feeling just, you don't want to do anything, but you just feel, I'm ready to go to bed now. You should feel good going into bed. So allow your body to rest, allow your body to recover, and the best way to do that is through sleep, because that is the body's natural way of healing itself. That's why, like I just said, when we're sick, that's the one thing that our body wants to do. It wants to rest. So you sleep a lot of that time so that your body can naturally heal itself.
Okay, so there you have it. Quick recap. If you really want to take your fitness to the next level, then consider the 5 must-haves for every recovery routine. So number 1, cool down. You want to find ways to bring your heart rate down and normalize it, get it closer to your resting heart rate. 2, incorporate foam rolling and stretching into your routine. 3, choose or use a combination of hot and cold therapy, as well as regular massage therapy. Number 4, make sure that you are refueling your body with the proper nutrition, putting an emphasis on that higher protein intake, drinking plenty of water, and then using supplementation as needed. And then number 5, get adequate amounts of rest or sleep. So guys, there you have it, your recovery routine. Go ahead and drop us a comment down below and let us know if you are practicing any or all of these different techniques when it comes to really taking your fitness to that next level. So we love you guys. Make sure to join us here next week, same time, same place, for your weekly dose of Trainer Talk Tuesday. And as always, never give up,
Never lose hope, and
never settle.
All right, guys, have a good one. And again, I will drop Scott's name and information in the comment section. Reach out to him, set up you an appointment for a great massage, and watch how better you feel when you get off that table.